Welcome to the channel. This is Geauxgreddy, your 2018-2019 SCCA Central Region F Street Autocross Champion and GT Sports Sim Racer. And tonight, we continue our journey towards that A+ DR rating at Spa in the Gr4 86 Toyota. Can we continue that climb up the ladder? Gotta stick around to find out. Welcome to the 2020 preseason race 1 as we are at Spa. I'm in the Gr4 Toyota 86 like I mentioned before. Continuing my goal towards that A+ driver rating, we started the 2020 year with a 41,239 point DR rating. Goal of 50,000 points for a DR rating. That's to achieve the A+ driver rating status. And we finished the 2019-2020 exhibition season 3 in the Porsche with 46,573 points. So it was an increase of about 4,740 points or so, if my math is correct. And that's a good gain. So we only have roughly 3,400 points left to get to A+, and I was pretty excited about that, as I only race manufacturers race. I don't do nations, I don't do daily races, so be able to make up that much ground in one season, I was pretty pleased. A lot of that probably had to do with Porsche. So why did I switch? I don't know. I like trying something new, so I figured I would go to Toyota and give that manufacturer a shot for the 2020 preseason, see if we can't climb our way up to A+. So that was the goal. Honestly, I didn't think I would ever achieve A+ when I first started all this FIA mess. I mean, I was struggling to get through B, and I was like, I don't know how anybody can compete in A. And just stayed at it, stayed positive, just kept making little improvements here and there and everywhere, and got into lobbies with some good people. And we go out and we put in laps, and we just keep getting better. So, you know, hey, making my way towards A+. It's pretty cool. So here we are at my end of my qualifying lap. I qualified, just set a 229.353, which is absolutely horrendous, not good at all. I can run 228s, not super low 220s, but I can usually stick laps in the 228s without too much trouble. I could probably squeeze in a 227 with a really good slipstream, which is what I was going for here. But unfortunately, the gentleman I was following was too fast for me to catch up. In fact, he ended up being on the pole. So, oops, messed that up. So anyway, let's get started with the race and see where I start, and more importantly, see where I finish. Well, thank you, Opera Lady. Oh, and again, we all know what that denotes. That's right. The start of an FIA race. And there's the gentleman I was chasing, Gr4 Toyota, 227.569 in pole. In second, Ibuprofen with a 227.805. Then Orma Bixiglass in third with a 227.832. Well done. In fourth, PSRT Apex 42, the 227.874. Trust No One in fifth, the 228.006. In sixth, TGTCQ Gene Phi, the 228.116. Fobrizas in seventh with a 228.159. Turpy Urfy in eighth with a 228.180, and he's in the Alpha 4C, usually in the Porsche. Cloudy Racing in ninth with a 228.288. Fond Farewell in 10th with a 228.334. Vegeta 25RS, not sure there, 228.603. I want to be S. Pruitt in 12th with a 228.665 over from Lexus again, staying with Porsche. In 13th, Chase Cam Pleb with a 228.671. And Bam Bloodstain comes in 14th with a 228.6 754. I bring to pain in 15th in the Jag with a 228.784. Then there's Geauxgreddy in 16th with the unlucky 13th plate number on the side, the 229.179. Then the bronze in the bronze Mustang with a 229.959. Then Alan Wrench, 55 and 8/10 with a 229.958, followed by Thunder Nux in the Viper with a 230.420. And in 20th, Main Prize in the Lambo with no qualifying time. So I guess he wanted to make it hard for himself. So yes, I qualify in 16th, making the climb to the top very difficult. In fact, almost impossible. Especially considering this lobby is a lot of A-plus drivers, probably at least through, I would say 9th or 10th place was A-plus. A lot of S-rated drivers. I couldn't really tell how deep it was as we get started here. My goal at the start of this race right now is just to stay in the slipstream of I bring the pain. And he's in the Jaguar. It's got good straight line speed. As you can see, I'm revving the car out. I'm not really saving a whole hell of a lot of fuel right here. I have got to stay in the suck of that Jag, or it's going to be a long day for the Greddy. The 86 is not known for its straight line speed. So I really get on the throttle here. I'm just wasting fuel galore. Trying to stay in it. I'm at 1.2 and falling fast. 1.3, heading down towards Eau Rouge. Praying I can stay that 1.5, come up the top of the hill, ring it out 5th gear for all she's got. Going to pull it up to 140 miles an hour before I slam it into 6th. And just staying in the suck. 1.48, now 1.5, but I'm okay now because I know that I'm close enough that I can get right back on his tail in the curvy parts because it is the 86 and it does like the curvy parts. So now I feel like I can relax a little bit. I can pull myself into I bring the pain. I just want to stay in touch with him so that when he does serve this penalty, I can make the pass. In the meantime, save some tires. Again, work on saving that fuel. Come around here, take this left-hand sweeper, nice and easy. I noticed something crazy going up front, and what do I see? Oh, no, veggies for tier 25 RS. He died. Yeah, rip vegetator. Sorry, brother. We'll take that easy position, though. So I now moved one up from 16th to 15th. Now, the goal of every FIA race that I do is obviously to win the race, but if I can't win the race, the next goal is to finish in the top 10. So if you finish within the top 10, your DR is always going to go up. And of course, that's my goal, is just keep moving towards A+. I don't have to do it all in one race. If it takes the whole season, takes all year, I'm cool with that. But I just want to keep climbing towards A+. So, again, staying here behind, I bring the pain. Hope for carnage in front of me. I hope these guys out in front, I want to be S. Pruitt, Ormer Bixie Glass, Turpie, and all those fellas up front can race each other really hard and bring the pack back to me. So heading down in towards the chicane, get on the brakes early so I can let off here and just carry some momentum. As you see Alan Wrench coming in a little hot behind me. He gets Thunder Nux beside him as they come out side by side of the chicane. You can see that in the rearview mirror. Heading into turn 1, almost 3 wide there is Chase Cam Pleb on the inside of I Bring the Pain. I want to be S. Pruitt leading it in the Porsche, and they get a little bumpy there, but nothing too terrible. I Bring the Pain and Chase Cam Pleb both with half-second penalties. So what I would really like in this situation is when I come out of Eau Rouge is for me to be able to jump onto the back of I Want to Be S. Pruitt, because he's going to keep going. And these guys are going to slow down. But S. Pruitt is tucked in behind Chase Cam Pleb. I'm going, please come over to the left. So I had to tuck back in behind I Bring the Pain. I went ahead and let him go sit out, and then I jumped in behind I Want to Be S. Pruitt because I want to get in that slipstream to make sure I can overtake Chase Cam Pleb through there. And then Thunder Nux comes in hot behind me. I brake late so he doesn't murder me. Part of what I tried to do there was give him the outside line so that I could take the inside through the corner, since the 86 is much better in the corner. But he went ahead and decided to send it down the inside anyway, even though the 86 is a lot faster through the corners through here. And, doesn't really matter. I was just going to hang out behind S. Pruitt anyway. Use his slipstream, save some tires, save a little bit of fuel. But instead, I'll just have to hang out for Thundernucks for a little while. It'll just be a matter of time before his tires fall off of the Viper, and the little 86 can just make his way around the corners. As you can see right through there, I mean, I'm even catching him pretty quickly through this section of corners. Off the gas really early, light on the brakes, again, trying to save the tires. I did a poor job in the practice race of differentiating between saving tires and going fast. So it seemed like if I was trying to save tires and fuels, I'd just go really slow, or I'd go really fast and just burn a lot of fuel and destroy my tires. So what I was trying to do is use as much fuel as I needed to stay in the slipstream, but then when I was firmly in the slipstream like I am now, come off, do some coasting like I coasted there through that corner. I could have taken that one full throttle. I gave him a little space here as we're coming into the chicane. I don't need to be right on his bumper. Let off early here, easy on the brakes, not pushing it too hard into the chicane so that I can save some of that tire. Again, I'm only on 2 to the rear here. I can run 3, 4 to the rear to even the tire wear a little bit better. But like I said at the beginning of the race, more than anything, I do not want to lose the slipstream. I do not want to get hung out to dry on the straights in the 86. As I get a little bit close to doing that right here, down to 1.1 seconds as we head again down towards Eau Rouge, and the very long Camel Straight to follow, which is where I struggle in this car, especially at the beginning of the race when everyone's tires are in good shape and my car is heavy, so I can't really pull away from like I can when it's light and everyone else's car has really worn their tires out. Then I can start to really let that 86 shine in the corners. And as I wait on that to happen, up in front, S. Pruitt gets some contact into Thundernucks. He goes wide, and S. Pruitt with the 1 second penalty. So, heading through Lake Home, they make contact, and S. Pruitt gets that second penalty, and it looks like this will be something I can take advantage of, to get past S. Pruitt, who's in that Cayman, which is a very competitive car to what I'm driving, the 86. So his strategy is very similar to mine. Let the tires outlast these other high horsepower cars and kind of take over near the end of the race. So, opportunity to get past that Porsche, which would be really hard for me to pass in the 86. He puts it back in front of Thundernucks again. Not having much trouble catching Thundernucks here in the twisty section. It's the straights that I struggle keeping up with that car in. So he's trying to get through the twisties without me passing, and I'm trying to get through the straight section without him passing. And that's the name of the game. So heading through here, I'm right on his rear end, just kind of waiting for him to hopefully make just a little bit of a mistake, so maybe I can squeeze on by him and jump into Pruitt's slipstream, as he seems to be struggling even more on the tires than he was earlier. So always looking for just that minor little error. But again, meantime, just trying to save a little bit of fuel where I can and save my own tire. So with that 1 second penalty on Scott Pruitt, or S. Pruitt, I don't know why I'm saying Scott Pruitt. He's not Scott Pruitt. He's I want to beat S. Pruitt. Anyway, I really want to tuck in tight on this Viper, and so I can make sure I can get the pass on the Cayman, on the Camel Straight, and come down through this corner fairly good, get on the gas. I'm really trying to get on here early, do a good job. As you can see, I'm pulling a little bit on both of them coming down the straight, which is the first time, and I think the last 4 laps that I've done that on anyone. So perfect, that's what I need to do. I am a second behind both of them, and of course it's a 1 second penalty that S. Pruitt has hanging above his head. So I will need to make the most of that as we head down here, and he enters that penalty zone. Go south. I do make the pass. I am now within the suck zone of Thundernucks going into the twisties. So that bodes well for me. S. Pruitt is slipped a little more than a second behind me, but he too is still in the slipstream. And Cloudy Racing not too far up in front of us, and he is right on the tail of 10th place, which is where I want to be to finish the race. that is the Mendoza line. That is where you go from losing points to gaining points, albeit very minor at position 10. It is points gained, and that's what I want. Not necessarily going for the manufacturer's win. I like to finish well in manufacturers, obviously. I want as many points as I can get, but that's not my goal this season. My goal this season is to get to A+. If I'm not an A+, I won't be winning any manufacturer's titles anyway, so what's the point? So as you can see here, I'm reeling the Thundernucks back in. Heading through campus. Yeah, where are all the co-eds? I don't know. They must be on vacation. Looking for a place to pass as I'm really starting to pull on Thundernucks here coming out of that last right-hander. I said, you know what? I'm going to stick to the inside. He thinks about cutting me off, but then he smartly kind of comes back out. He backs off right here, does that nicely, tucks in behind me. I'm like, hey, look at there. Well done. Made the pass. Made it stick. Broke a little, just a hair too early right there. I was trying to save the tires a little too much. Funnily though, is funnily even a word? I don't think funnily is a word. Funny enough, it made Thundernucks brake harder and actually caused S. Pruitt to be able to make a move on him into the chicane as they are racing side by side, which again bodes well for me because they will be caught up with one another and not so much with Geauxgreddy. Lap 5, here we are. I'm behind Bam Bloodstain, and the strategy now for me is changing. So originally I want to go out on 6 laps of medium, then come out on 5 laps of soft. And right here with the troubles that Thundernucks has been giving me on the straight, and with the issues with the Cayman that I have, in that it's a very similar car to the one I drive, I don't really want to be next to these two. Not that I'm too worried about getting run off the track or anything like that. S. Pruitt drives very clean. Thundernucks, he's kind of a knucklehead sometimes, but for the most part, he knows how to drive. So there's that. And so I am going to switch my strategy. I'm going for the undercut here. I'm going to pit at the end of lap 5 and go onto the soft tires. This is all the fuel saving that I'm doing, is what you are watching right here. I'm going to try and put in enough fuel to where I don't really have to concern myself with fuel saving. I will be concerned with my fuel because obviously I don't want to just rev it out and burn up all my fuel. But I'm not going to put in so much. I'm not going to overfuel, but I just want to put in a solid amount of fuel where I don't really have to worry about fuel and rev it out if I need to. As I catch Bam Bloodstain, he's struggling on the tires in that Jaguar. Note to self, write it down, put it in the old memoirs. I get a loose there on the old curb. Scary moment. Recovered as PSRT, our second victim. RIP to you, Apex 42. Sad. But I'm in the magic 10th place now. I'm pretty happy. I'm about to go into the pits. I'll throw on some fresh softs and some fuels. I'll put some fuels in the car. All right. So heading to the pit stop. Pick my softs. 31% fuel left, which isn't too terrible. It's not bad. Faux Breezes with 29. Gene 5 with 48. Around me, PSRT Apex, who just came in behind me, also with right around 31%. So I'm doing well on fuel. I'm going to crank this thing up to the diamond. I'm just going to go all the way to the diamond. I like the way I was shifting before. I'll go a little bit above, not too much. That should be plenty of fuel. I'm hoping to come out behind somebody that's fast, that I can just kind of, leech some slipstream off. I come out behind Cloudy Racing. Good driver. Very happy about that. Very excited. The only thing that's bugging me is if I just was a little bit faster. I could have been in his slipstream. Instead, I'm at 1.9 seconds, and half a second behind me is Thundernucks. Now, I didn't really overfuel. I fueled up a fair amount. Thundernucks underfueled a lot more than I did, and he is running me down on the straight like a scalded cat. So I'm gonna like give him the outside for sure this time, squeeze him a little bit, and he hits me on the straight before we even got in the corner. Then he runs off the track and gives me a second penalty. So it's so aggravating. Not just that Thundernucks ran into me. That really wasn't, I mean, he didn't really alter my line or anything. But if he had just tucked him behind me, he knows my car's faster in the curvy section, we would both be cruising through here without any issues. I wouldn't have the 1 second penalty. In fact, I lost some time, a little bit of time there. It's cloudy racing. Very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. But you can't let it bother you. As much as I could have dwelled on this and thought of all the things that could happen and may happen, whatever, it doesn't matter. The penalty occurred, so you just have to put your head down and fight through it and keep pushing forward, because like I mentioned, I want to finish in that 10th place or better. I'm in 15th now. I've got a lot of work to do. Now, granted, a lot of people are going to be going to the pit stops. As you can see, the first place has made it into the pits here. The one I was trying to catch before, HDR Chidat, however you say his name. And so I may make a few positions there. So all is not lost. You never know. Races are long. We're only on lap 6. We got 5 and a little bit more to go. So let's see how it turns out. Let's fast forward just a little bit. All right, here we are a little further up the road on lap 7, taking my penalty, serve my second, do my time, and no major harm was done other than I was kind of closing in on Cloudy Racing a little bit. Might have had his slipstream, might not have. Don't know. We'll never know. What I do know is that Thundernucks did not get mine either, but they did reel them in a little closer as I make a big mistake right here. Carry way too much speed through this double apex, but recover fairly well. It could have been a lot worse than it was. I see Bring the Pain was coming up on me really hard. So I just moved over out of his way. I was like, come on through, my man. Come on through. So I'm going to jump here behind Bring the Pain. Honestly, I wasn't too terribly upset about it because I knew that the straights were coming up. And I just made that mistake. I had fallen back from Cloudy Racing even further. Cloudy is just putting down some really nice, consistent laps right now. Now, I was doing okay my first stint. I had a rough lap 2 there with the 231, 278. But I settled down. I ran a couple 230s back-to-back on the medium tires, which I was happy with. I'm good with that. Good lap going into the pit stop, a 222 coming out on my pit. I was happy with that. Not happy with the 230 on my outlap on softs. I made a lot of mistakes. The penalty, I mean, I could probably be 3 seconds on up where I am now, somewhere up there with Cloudy Racing. So, not super happy about it, but I Bring the Pain. I got that top end of the Jaguar to hopefully pull me along the straight, get me closer to Cloudy Racing, and get me closer to those top 10 positions. So, hang out here behind I Bring the Pain for a little bit. So, let's fast forward on to lap 9. So heading towards the chicane. I'm still here just a few tenths behind I Bring the Pain, and I see the first chink in the armor of the Jaguar. Now remember, note to self how around lap 5 previously behind the Jaguar is when the tires started to fall off. So starting to think it's about time for me to make a move on the Pain Bringer, Mr. I Bring the Pain. I'm going to bring the wood to I Bring the Pain. I'm going to open that can of whoop ass. That's what I'm going to do. Just hear it crack. Just a little. There it is. Oh, no. So, coming out of Eau Rouge, I'm making a really nice run on him. I guess he just didn't get quite a good line coming there through Eau Rouge. And I'm like, oh my goodness. It's getting really close. Do I send it? I said no. I backed off on the throttle. Thought much better about. I mean, I remember that late send that Thundernucks had on me. I didn't really like that. So I wasn't going to do that till I bring the pain. I'm going to look for a better place where I can set up a good, clean pass. It feels like we're running down Cloudy Racing. I don't know if he made a mistake or what. So I feel good, like maybe if I just hang out here a little bit, he's going to keep pulling in on Cloudy, and then I can make my move. Then I can take 9th place and secure an amazing comeback from 16th. I need to ditch that unlucky number 13 number plate, get that off my back, and maybe get some good DR points and some good even manufacturers points from this race if I can get into 9. Because like I said, this is a higher lobby than what I'm used to. Like I said, about half of it was A+. Pretty rare that my lobby has half of the drivers A+. Usually I would be lucky if there's any. So with that said, there I am on the bumper of 10th place on lap 10. A little more than a lap and a half to go, and if you remember, this is where I kind of caught the Jaguar last time the tires started wearing out. So I decided to send it down the inside. Savage lunge. Not really. Left him space on the outside. Did not want to push him off the track. He left me space on the inside, so that was much appreciated. Now I've got to scamper the little 86 away from the Jaguar on this long straight section towards the chicane as he is reeling me in. Just got to make a good chicane, come out the other side, continue to try to chase down Cloudy. I really want to get into a slipstream. I've been just off of, you remember that 1 second penalty? How much is that costing right now that I'm 2 seconds off his rear bumper? So possibly could have been that slipstream, maybe making something else happen, don't know, as I bring the pain. Gets in the bumper, gives me a little bump draft, so much appreciated there. It's always nice when someone races you relatively clean, and I'm not going to say he's given up or given me this position, but he didn't see the point of fighting that corner. So it's like, it'd be better if we just bump draft. Maybe we'll catch Cloudy. Who knows? Let's just keep going. He's also got folks behind him. He doesn't want catching him either. So you got Bam Bloodstain back there. You always have Thunder Knucklehead and the rest of the crew coming up the rear. So he is reeling me in quick on this straight, though. I mean, just the time is just coming down in chunks. I didn't think about it, but I should have protected that inside line. I left the door wide open. I didn't want to turn in on him. Gave him room to the inside, but when we bumped, it caused me to go off track. He wasn't trying to send me off track. And then he conceded the position. So, major props to him. He also got a 2 second penalty there, so I'm sure he was frustrated a little bit with the penalty. I wouldn't have given him the 2 seconds there, especially considering he conceded the position back to me. He basically gave himself a penalty. So again, great driving there by Bring the Pain, and not because he bumped into me or because he got a penalty, but because he did concede the position on the move. I don't think he meant to do it. I think it was a racing incident. Clearly the 86 is better, cornering. So I think he knew it was over at that point. But anyway, I don't know what he knew or what he did. I'm just speculating. At this point I'd given up catching Cloudy Racing. 2.6 seconds off his rear bumper. If I could have had, that second from that penalty back, that would be so nice. Could have been a lot closer. But hey, that's racing. Close only counts in what they say, horseshoes and hand grenades. So 0.2 laps of fuel. So I judged the fuel about right. Was pretty happy with that. I was able to rev it out when I needed to be able to, make some moves or keep my position. Happy with that decision. Times weren't as good as I would have liked them to be. Not as consistent as I liked them, or as low as I liked them to be. But hey, that's all right. I was happy with the result. It's a 9th place. It's in that top 10. We finished this race with 46,844 points. So I picked up 271 points, a DR. So again, moving towards that goal of A+. I'm sure I'm going to get some decent manufacturing points, which we'll see in just a second when it switches the screen. Happy with that. So the journey continues. And I feel like if I'm able to make it A+, if you're watching this, I'm telling you, you can do it as well. I'm not that fast. I just I just drive and I just get a little bit better each time I go out. So there it is, 154 points. First race for Toyota, Manufacturer Series. Race 7 positions, man, that is awesome. So hope you enjoyed the race. Hope you enjoyed the video and joining me on my journey towards A+. If you did, hit the like, smash the subscribe, and come back and watch some more videos. So for all of you that have joined the channel, thank you very much, and have a great evening.